Từ lâu, tôi vẫn nghĩ rằng con người và thời gian.
We went from Mexico to Mexicali. Salimos de México a Mexicali y de Mexicali a Sonora.
The hardest job that she had was washing the dishes.
My great-grandmother, she used to turn upside down.
My great-grandfather, G, used to swim in the river down Nine.
The hardest thing was working in the cotton too.
In Yemen, the girls learned to cook and be an excellent housewife.
He met an Indian woman and married her.
When my grandma was little, she used to not have food.
The first time I swam in the ocean was yesterday.
Fire. La migra. Sand. My mom was born in Guatemala. When she came here, she came in a truck. She passed through Tijuana. There were a lot of men called La Migra. La Migra came to arrest my mom, so she went to jail. She said she was from Mexico. La Migra let my mom out of jail. Then they sent my mom back to Tijuana. Those two men came and took my mom in the yellow desert with no water, no trees. It was just filled with hot sand.
My mom had to walk from Cambodia to Thailand on a hot day, wearing very thin shoes. She had to stay in a refugee camp in Thailand. And the next day, she walked to the airport to come to the United States.
My Uncle Ali came to Oakland from Louisiana by train at the age of 5. It was during World War II. The journey took about 3.5 days. The blacks had to sit separately from the whites. His mother was Cleta Robbins. She made up this poem. I looked up on the hill, I saw the devil coming.
I looked up on the hill, I saw the devil coming. I put on my overcoat and beat the devil running.
My grandfather, Saadia, was born in Yemen. The time in history was when World War II ended. It was very rough for the Jewish people. One day, they were told to leave their village and go to Israel, the Holy Land, the Holy Land, the Holy Land, the Holy Land. They did not have a chance to sell their property. They rode camels and donkeys. They stayed in camps. Then they boarded a plane and went straight to Israel. They were so excited, they kissed the land.
My dad was born in a lovely land called Cambodia. But he lost everything that he had after his country was defeated by the Red people, Pol Pot. He lost his family. He thought he would die. He worked 7 days a week from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. without pay and had no food to eat. He was about 15 years old. He finally left his homeland by walking at night to Thailand. He walked 5 days without food to the Thailand border, which is called Khao Ida, the land of hope. The land of hope. The land of hope. The land of hope. He had no hope to live in his country anymore.
My great-great-grandfather traveled to America on a slave ship. He escaped. and lived on an Indian reservation. He met an Indian woman and married her. My great-grandmother grew up on the Indian reservation.
When my grandma's father came to this country, he was 3 years old. His family was trying to sneak out of Russia. The man who was helping them get away told his mother that she should kill her son, so his crying wouldn't make them get caught. She refused.
My great-great-grandma, Georgia, came to California from Arkansas. She cleaned house for a white doctor in the South. This was in 1937 when whites and blacks were not equal. The doctor's son knew that her daughter, my great-grandmother, had it, was afraid of snakes, but he threw one on her. She got mad and beat the boy up. In those days, blacks were killed for doing things like that. My great-great-grandmother had to take her 2 children and catch a train to California at night to save her daughter's life. They had to eat canned meats and syrup sandwiches.
I was born in Liberia, Seattle. We own our own land. Everything was free. When you have your own land, you are okay. We had celebrations every July 26th, which is Independence Day. At nighttime, we will have a campfire and tell stories. We were happy.
In the woods, we gather up wood to make fire. When we went fishing, we take all we need. We hunt fishes in the stream, and we made fish soup, and we ate it there.
These are the things that my grandpa told us. I won't forget them till when I die.
The hardest thing was working in the cotton fields. A few families would go to the fields and pick cotton. The families would stay 1 to 2 weeks to get it all done. There were rows and rows of cotton. I was about 14, 15 years old. I had to pick cotton with my hands, with my 8 sisters in the very, very hot sun without a hat. I had to work for 10 hours. I put the cotton in a big canvas bag that had straps around my back. Some days I had to pick cotton instead of going to school. You were paid by the pound. I tried to pick 100 pounds of cotton, but I only picked 5 pounds. It was hard because the cotton plant was down low, about 2 feet tall. My back hurt. I had no gloves. The cotton would stick to your hands if you were not careful.
Her hardest job was making tortillas. She might get burned in the fire. First, she needs to get masa. You have to grind the masa. She has to go to a little shop and there is a machine to grind it. She sees a machine stomping the masa. The masa smells good. When it's ground, she has to put it on a plate and puts the plate on her head. She walks. When she gets home, she puts the plate down from her head. Then she gets a piece of it with her 2 hands and twirls it and puts it on the fire. Then she gets another piece and does the same thing again. Then she gets a basket and she puts the tortillas in it.
Yemen bread. My mother wanted me to cook just like her. In Yemen, the girls learn to cook and be an excellent housewife, so when she gets married, she would not embarrass the family. Our kitchen was big and very warm because of the oven heated by the logs. We made everything in the kitchen. We made bread every day. I was taught everything. My hardest job has to be learning to cook and going to school. Cooking can be hard sometimes. We burned wood for this. I had to know how to make the dough right and make it round enough to make it stick on the side of the oven. I can still hear the wood sparking and the smell of the bread. I love the fresh smell of bread.
When I was 12 years old, I dropped a pot while I was cooking because the pot was too slippery and hot. I was really sad because my parents punished me for not being careful. I thought my parents didn't love or care about me. But when I got older, I understood why I was punished. We didn't have money to buy pots. We lived too far away from the city to buy anything.
The story. Very, very poor. No food. No pets. Not much money. No jobs. Was born in Texas. Had to find sticks for a fire. Very hot.
My grandfather was transferred from Treasure Island Naval Base to the Ammunition Center at Port Chicago during World War II. He was the leader of a crew of African American sailors who were responsible for loading bombs onto the ships. The African American sailors had to load the ships because if one of the bombs exploded, it would cause the African American sailors to die, and not the Caucasian sailors. The African American sailors did not receive any training on how to load the bombs. One day, a bomb exploded. Over 300 people died. Mostly African American sailors.
The best moments of my life when I was a kid was on special days, like Christmas and New Year. I enjoyed being with all my family, my cousins and brothers. I was happy because we played all night long. We enjoyed the traditional dishes my mom cooked, tamales, mole, and pierna al horno. I liked to watch the fireworks that my dad burned that night.
When my great-grandfather was about 12 years old, his sister's boyfriends would pay him to eat his vegetables. His sisters could not go out until they had washed the dishes. They couldn't wash the dishes until Papa ate his vegetables. So, his sister's boyfriends would pay him 25 cents to eat his vegetables. $0.25 would get him into the movies. 10 cents back then. And he would still have 15 cents left over to buy popcorn, soda, and ice cream.
The hardest job that she had was washing the dishes. It was hard because it was wet and slippery. She was scared of being cut by the knives. And the water had to be hot.
My great-grandmother Vicky invented the burrito. It happened when the Great Depression was going on and many people ran out of things. Vicky ran out of hot dogs and hamburgers. A man came by and ordered a hot dog. But there was no more. So Vicky got some beans, cheese, and meat that she had left and put them in a tortilla. Then she folded the sides and rolled the thing up. Then she thought, what should I call it? She held it up and saw how it sagged in the middle. Then she said, "Hey, that looks just like a little donkey's belly." So she handed the guy the thing, and he asked, "Well, what is this?" And she said, "A burrito."
Trò chơi chạy trốn. My great-grandfather G used to swim in the river Đồng Nai. The river was named Đồng Nai because many deer often come to drink water there. My great-grandfather used to play hide and go seek in the water with his friends. He dived into the water and hide behind the rocks, docks, and boats. Vượt biển, water. Vietnam fisherman escape. The most difficult time in his life was coming to America. There was a war when this happened. In the morning, my dad, his dad, and his two brothers tried to pretend that nothing would happen. At noon, my dad left the village and went to his cousin's house. He waited for his dad and brothers. They came to pick him up the next morning.
My mom was born in Vietnam. When she was 22 years old, she escaped from there. One day, her father fixed a handbag. It had food and stuff. He said that he was going to take my mom to visit a relative on a farm. But soon her father walked her into the woods with other people. Then he left. She left Vietnam by boat in the middle of the night. The trip was scary. If she and other people had been caught, they would have been in big trouble. The police would have taken them to jail for trying to leave their country.
They waited until it was night. All of them had to walk barefoot, carefully, and quietly to the river.
On the night they left, it was cold and dark. She and the other people sneaked down from the wood down to shore where the boat was. During their escape, the owner of the boat saw a guard and bribed him with gold. The people had to hide under the boat, covered with fish above their head, and had to be quiet as the boat sailed out to sea. There were more guards on their way. The owner of the boat bribed them with wine, food, cigarettes. Then they sailed into sea. The boat was small. It had 110 people on board. It was crowded. During the day, it was hot and sunny. Their food and water soon ran out. For the rest of their journey, they had no food and water. Everyone was hungry and thirsty. The captain offered rice to hungry people, but the rice he offered tasted so salty, they had to toss it into the sea.
Everyone left Vietnam. They was on the boat for 2 days and ate all their food. They felt like they wanted to die. The 4th day on the boat, they found a fisherman boat. A fisherman gave them food and water. He also gave them direction. Everyone saw land and was happy.
The hardest job I've had was doing domestic work. It was slave labor. My chores were to care for the baby, wash, dry, and fold clothes, mop, wash dishes, iron, wash windows, and so on. There was certain food I was allowed to eat, and I had to drink orange juice, which reminded me of the time Mother made us take cod liver oil. Just thinking of it, it makes me queasy. Most of the people, white, I worked for saw me as a fat, black, and illiterate. I had flat feet, and they always hurt. Most of the time, the people I worked for didn't care whether I heard them call me names. Nigger was most often used. I could hardly keep a job. I mean to work until the day is done. I mean to work until the day is done and cease from sorrow. There'll be no tomorrow. I mean to work until the day is done.
We went from Mexico to Mexicali. Salimos de México a Mexicali y de Mexicali a Sonora. De Sonora a Las Vegas. Y de Las Vegas a Oakland. Our trip was very difficult. Fue muy difícil. The trip happened in Octubre de 2005. It was during the day. You could hear the birds, se oían los pájaros, and the rain, y la lluvia, and the wet ground, la tierra mojada, and the sadness from leaving my country, y la tristeza de dejar mi país.
my dad was born and raised in Vietnam. During the war, my dad was refugees. He took a ship to Hong Kong where he met my mother and they got married. Then my parents took a plane to the Philippines. I cannot believe my dad traveled from Vietnam to Hong Kong to the Philippines to learn the English language.
Từ lâu, tôi vẫn nghĩ rằng con người và thời gian là hai thứ tàn nhẫn và bạc bẽo nhất trong cuộc sống. Nhưng thật lạ lùng, 33 năm đã qua, khoảng thời gian này cũng có thể đủ làm cho người ta quên. Vậy mà, nỗi buồn của những người lưu lạc xa quê hương vẫn một ngày một lớn rộng, che phủ đi cái đời sống thật ra rất buồn tủi.
Let's say goodbye with a smile, dear, just for a while, dear, we must part. Don't let this parting upset you, I'll not
When my grandma was 3, after World War II, a strange man came.
We'll meet again, don't know where, don't know when, but I know we'll meet again some sunny day.
The man wanted to pick her up and hug her.
Keep smiling through, just like you always do, till the blue skies chase those dark clouds far away.
But she ran away.
And I will just say hello to the folks that you know. Tell them you won't be alone.
She got her mom, and her mom hugged and kissed
They'll
him.
be happy to know that as I saw you go, you were singing this song.
Then, her mom explained to her that the strange man
We'll meet again, don't know where, don't know when,
was her dad.
but I know we'll meet again some sunny day.
When my grandma was little, she used to not have food. She needed to look for food with her parents and brothers and sisters. She looked in trees to see if there were any eggs of birds. And one day, a miracle happened. Two birds fell from a tree. And they sold them, and they went to buy food.
grandmother, Ernestine, used to tell that when she was little, she used to turn upside down with her feet on the wall, while her grandmother read her a story so she could go to sleep. When my grandma was 8 years old, she remembers walking across the field every day. She would lie in the grass and look up into the sky and imagine being in the clouds.
The first time I swam in the ocean was yesterday. To feel the force of the current, the rising of the waves, I felt scared. I felt happy.
My mom was born in Guatemala. The first time I crossed the border, I walked for many hours.
My mom had to walk from Cambodia to Thailand on a hot day.
My great-great-grandma, Georgia, came to California from Arkansas.
My dad was born in a lovely land called Cambodia.
My great-grandfather, T, used to swim in the river Danai. The most difficult time in his life was coming to America.
I looked up on the hill. I saw the devil coming.
There was a war.
When my grandma was 8 years old,
When my grandma was 3,
She was scared of being cut by the knives.
I had to lift heavy buckets of water.
Trò chơi chạy trốn.
Se oían los pájaros,
Cái đời sống thật ra rất buồn tuổi.
la tierra mojada y la tristeza de dejar mi país.